Okay, today guys, what I'm going to show you is a recap on my first video that I did on turning the pen. Now, I don't know, for some reason it didn't load up properly on the end and you didn't see the finished product. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to run you through exactly the process. I'm going to try and skip it through a bit on different processes because some processes do take 15-20 minutes for the wax to dry and different things. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you from start to finish. This piece of wood we've got here, piece of oak offcut. It's 20 by 20 square, and first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure 2 pieces for these brass tubes to go into, so they'll sit inside and then the pen is built around the whole thing, and we need them so we can turn it on the lathe. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these out now and then I'll come back to you. Right, we're back, got them cut. What I did fail to mention is that the grain orientation on the timber, you want it running the same way so as you can reference it when you're putting it on the lathe. Now I've just put a mark across the grain so it all matches up, so you can join the grain together once you've got the pen ready for assembly. So now we've got two pieces there that are ready for the brass tube, both the same. Now we're going to glue those in. Not yet, sorry. What we're gonna do, my brain's going overtime. Sorry, what we're going to do, we're going to mark the centers. Sorry, we're going to mark these centers and then we're going to drill through. Okay. Right, we're over at the drill press now. I've got it marked out in the middle. We're going to go down a few at a time so we can bring them out, so bring the timber out so as the drill bit goes down straight. And there we have it. That now is your hole drilled through the middle. So I'll skip the next part and we'll go on to the other one. Right, we're on to the next step now. What we want to do is rough these up with some sandpaper so the glue takes to it. So I'm going to do that now. Just a bit of 180 grit paper. Go both directions, up and down, just so as you've got a bit of a scratch on there. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to put the tubes in. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a small amount of super glue on here. Only a very small amount. There we go. I would tip it straight on through the end of the nozzle, but it's stuck in. Poor maintenance. So what we'll do is we'll mix that up now. Find something. Mix it up. What am I on about? Mix it up. I'm not using epoxy. Just a bit of cardboard here. Should be using a lollipop stick or a little piece of timber or something for this, but there you go. All I'm going to do, I'm going to coat it. If we can see that, just coat it around with the super glue. So we've got it all around. I mean, you can use epoxy, but it's very, very messy. So all we're going to do now is we're going to slide that in, slide it right down so it's flush on the end. Let's use the other one to push it in. And then a touch of activator. It's going nowhere, so we'll set that one aside for a second. We'll do the other one. Must have got a bit on my fingers because they're sticking together. Push that in there. This shows it's flush with the end. It's good the other side. So we get a bit of activator. No messing about with that then. So we are now on to the next step, which is pouring it onto the lathe. So give me a second, we'll get round to that. I did fail to mention, what I do want to do now is use the barrel trimmer to make sure there's nothing in the barrel, because if there is, it just won't go through properly. See that little bit of super glue on the end as well there? We won't get that off. So just so the bright brass tube is showing on that end. Just like that. So what we'll do now is we'll put it onto the lathe. Remembering what I said before about the orientation marks on there, so we keep the grain the same. So first of all, we put the bushing on, we put the first piece on, we put the second bushing on, make sure they're lined up, and then we bring the tailstock up, give it a bit of a push, hold them the same. There we go. You don't want it slipping. So now we'll tighten the lathe up. That's not tight, so we'll just pinch it up just so it's tight. We'll go a touch more, but you don't want to go too much because you will bend the mandrel. They're not that strong. If you do put too much pressure on them, you will bend that rod that goes through there. That's called the mandrel. So we're all good there now. Next step, start to turn. Okay, right, we're all set up. Now we're going to start taking it down. if it was plugged in. That would help me. Okay, let's go. Glasses on. Don't forget them. Right, now that it stopped there, if you could see that, that means that it's not tight enough. So we'll unloosen it. We'll just pinch it up a touch more. Okay, let's go again. The aim is here to just get it round first. If you can see, we're nearly round on that piece there, and all we're trying to do is take the ends down to the bushings, because this size bushing kit is for the slimline pen kit that I've got. So as long as the edge of the timber is flush with the bushings, then that means that you're going to be okay when you put your pen together. So let's carry on. Turn it up a touch. Right, okay, we've got it down to where we want it now. That's the kind of designer pen I want. I've left it a little bit thicker on this end because that's where I want your fingers. I want your fingers to have something decent to grip onto. So we're just going to quickly go ahead and sand it. We're going to start with 180 grit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm just going to go up and down, up and down. This is going to be an absolutely gorgeous pen, this is. I love oak. Anybody that knows me knows I'm crazy about timber. So, there we go. It's already very, very smooth anyway, but let's go ahead and sand it quickly. Move this out of the way. Tail and rest, sorry. Slow it down a bit as well. Right, I'm not going to make you watch all the sanding process. I'll come back to you in a minute when I'm just finishing it off. You can see now that there's no shine on there virtually. You can't really see it, but wait, give me a second. Okay, back again. I did forget a step. As you can tell, this is only the 4th pen I've ever turned, so I'm no professional. I do keep forgetting steps, but there's loads of different steps to make this work. But now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some sanding sealer on it. And it is cellulose sanding sealer. So this will go into the wood, fill it in, make it hard, and it'll make good for a good finish, a good sanding process afterwards, where I get it really, really fine and then be able to buff it up. So that is apparently, at this stage, this is when you apply the sanding sealer. So I'm going to skip through that part and we'll get back to you once I've done it, because this, you're supposed to leave this to dry for 10-15 minutes, so we haven't got time for that. I am going to show you that part to change my mind. Just run this, I've slowed it right down, just putting some sanding sealer on there now. There we go. Just with a piece of tissue, that's all you need. There we go, that's fully covered. I don't think it'll harm it, just go right the way onto the bushes. But there we go. So I'll get back to you once that's dried. Okay, we're back again. Right, the sanding sealer is now dried, and we're going to go straight on with the 320, 400 and then 600. And then I'm going to use this chart with these micro mesh sanding pads straight from 1500 grit all the way to 12,000. You should be able to see yourself in that after. Well, we'll see. Okay, right, let's go. 320. Okay, I wasn't going to bore you with all that. We are now up to 8,000 grit and 12,000 grit. So let's see if it changes any. I don't know how good the light is on that, but just give it a little rub on there. That looks like it's coming up really, really nice. Oh yeah. So that's that one, 8,000. Let's go on to the 12,000. These are micro mesh sanding pads, 50 by 50 from Axminster. Never used them before, but it seems as though this is what everybody's using that does wood turning to get this kind of finish. So, and that's that. Right, let's have a look at that. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see that in the light, but the light's just glistening off that. Right, what I'm going to do now is I am going to put some of that on it. Now this it recommends that you leave this wax on it for 20 minutes before you buff it off, sorry. So I'll put this on now. I'll show you, I'll apply some. I'll quickly open it up just to see how it changes it once the wax goes on. I don't know if you want to see it, but I'm going to show you anyway. And all I'm going to use, not that dirty piece of towel. It does recommend using a lint-free cloth for buffing off. I have got some, so that's what we'll be doing. You only need to put a small amount on. So the instructions tell me on the back. Right, let's turn it down and see what this looks like. It says put on sparingly, but I am over the top with everything, so I'll just put loads on it. And I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to wait now 20 minutes for that to dry, and I'm going to come back to you and buff it off, and then we'll assemble the pen and we'll show you what this one looks like finished and the other 3 that I've already completed. Yeah, so I'll get back to you in a minute. Right, okay. The wax has dried, so now we're going to buff it off, and then we're going to go over to the vise and we're going to press it together. So let's turn her on. Turn her right up. Oh, you beauty. Look at that. I'm applying quite a bit of pressure in between my fingers so as I feel it burning, so as the wax sets into it. Let's have it up a bit higher if we can. There we go. Oh yeah. You can use a CA finish. I've seen plenty of CA finishes, but for me, I don't want a plastic feel. I want a bare wood feel, a natural wax finish for this pen. And there, that is let's turn it down. This is spinning at 2000 RPM, this is. So that's fast, so you don't want any loose parts on your clothes, anything like that, because it will twist you up. Let's turn it off. Oh my lord. That's the first time I've done it with that like that, so that's a new one for me, and that does look absolutely lovely. Wait till we match the grain up and we put it together. So I'll set you up over at the vise and we'll get it pushed together and we can see the finished product. Right, okay, we're over here at the vise now. You can use a proper pen press for this, but they're very expensive and I think that there's no point. You can just do it with this. So what we're going to do first is we're going to put the end into there. So all you do is you open the vise up, make sure you've got it square, and push on till it meets the very end, just like that. There we go. That's the end on. Now next we want to insert this. It goes in brass side, and what we're looking for is that little indent there. We don't want to come anywhere past there, or else the nib, when we put it in, it'll be too far out. So we'll go along with this. we do have a little bit of a predicament with that. I've just put some new wooden jaws on there, so that's not going to work. So I will bring this pen press over here. It's not finished yet, but we'll put this in there and we'll go ahead with that. So what I want to do, this is just something I've put together myself. Make sure it's nice and nicely aligned. Let's see if now, if it'll actually go back in there, because I don't really want to damage the pen. We're nearly there. I will just put it in there against the screw. I find you've got a lot more control over the pushing together part if you do use the vise. Now that's that part done. Now what we want to do is we want to clip, we'll insert the barrel just to check that nib in there comes out there lovely, absolutely lovely. In fact, what I will do is I will just touch it up a tiny bit more. There we go. Okay. And there we have it. That's nice. Okay, so now what we want to do is put the middle part round. That fits lovely. And now we'll switch the pen over and we will put the clip in. The clip just goes in just like that. Let's take it all the way into the, making sure that it's all square, because we don't, the wood on this is so thin now, we do not want to compromise it in any way. There we go. Let's push that right in. There we go. Pushing that in nice and tight. That's lovely. And then, last but not least, we want to find the grain orientation like we said at the beginning. And there we go. And there you have a beautiful oak pen. Let's turn the grain round until it meets there. There we go. And there you have a beautiful oak pen. Now I'm going to show you all of the pens that I've made. I did say that I'd only made 4, so I have made 5. I'm going to show you this one. I've made that one. That was the first pen I made. With the copper finish. This was the second pen I made with the black finish. This was the fourth, sorry. Put that over there. And this one is the other one I made. Okay, so they are all the pens that I've made, and that is absolutely lovely. Don't know if you can see them there like that in front of the vise. But they are the pens we've made up to now. So that concludes that video. If anybody's got any suggestions on anything they want to see me turning on the lathe, I will get back to you. I will sort it out as quick as I can. Anything else, any tool reviews, if you've seen any of the other videos. If not, go over to my page and follow me, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I'll get back to you. And there we go. That was the oak pen. Gorgeous. Don't you know what all my family are going to be getting for presents for the next 10 years? Pens. But we are going to start doing some resin turning. I'm after a pressure pot. If anyone can advise me on any pressure pots or anything like that, it'd be good to hear about. And yeah, see you later.